It's the final Village Vice before Auburn takes on Cal at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and we're gonna empty the tank today on the show. We're gonna just empty the tank. He's Zach Blackerby. I'm Brad Law. Brand new Village Vice. Village Vice is brought to you by our title sponsor, MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND to double your initial deposit. Are you kidding? MyBookie doubles your initial deposit when you use the code NEXTROUND. Kick off the football season with mybookie.ag. Zach, before we get started, I have to transform. I have to magically, like Clark Kent and Superman.
Okay. Oh my.
There
goodness.
we go.
Yeah, you just got like 20 years younger. You just got 20
feel-
years younger. The older I get, the more I get the whole like, okay, people not recognizing Clark Kent and Superman.
Glasses make so much of a difference. So much.
Sure.
Hey, there are calls. I know you don't read the comments, but I do, every single one of them. There are calls for you to become young Zach.
What does that mean? Shave?
It means shave the beard.
I'll work on it. If you join the barn, auburn.com, you'll know what will cause me to shave. That's been a discussion at the barn, auburn.com. So go ahead and sign up for that today.
Love it. All right. So here we go. It's like our preview, our prediction preview show for Auburn and Cal. And boy, the more I think about this matchup, the more excited I get to see what the identity is going to be. Like, I don't think you're going to see multiple one-play deep pass scoring drives. I also don't think you're going to see Cal really shut down Auburn offensively.
Yeah, I think you might. I think you might see Auburn attempt to have one play scoring drives. I don't think just because it's Cal that they're going to back off of what they did on offense a week ago. I don't think they were doing that just to bully Alabama A&M. I think they're doing that because they think that that's their best way to score. And so we're going to see this Auburn team make an effort to stretch the field. If I'm Cal, I'm still stacking the line and saying, hey, Peyton Thorne, you have to beat us. That's what I'm anticipating Cal doing coming out. And if that's the case, I mean, it sounds like Peyton Thorne's got a lot more luxury at the line, especially with that in-helmet communication where it's like, okay, it's a loaded box. We got one-on-one coverage on both sides. Let's see what happens here. I anticipate a lot of that early.
Yeah, probably so. Having watched Auburn, that's just such a risky plan. Hugh Freeze agrees with you. I mean, he thinks they're going to do that.
It's a new era, Brad.
This week.
It's a new era, though. It's a new era of Auburn offense on the Plains.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I mean. It's risky for Cal, not it's risky for Auburn. I mean, if you're leaving those guys one-on-one, if you are judging what's happening in this game,
Brad, what's the alternative?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I would hate to be a defensive coordinator going against this offense. I know not everybody's Alabama A&M. I understand that. But if you're looking at last year's roster, if you're looking at last year's wide receivers and in any way trying to gauge this year from what you saw last year, you're doing it wrong. This is a completely This isn't taking the old car and washing it and shining it up. This is replacing the old car with the new fast race car. It's a completely different vehicle. So I'm not saying they shouldn't try to take away the run first. I just think if they leave one-on-one coverage a lot in the first quarter, Auburn's got the explosiveness now to put up multiple scores in the first quarter.
Well, the beauty of the race car analogy is if you read race car in reverse, it's still race car. And just like Auburn's offense, it doesn't matter if you throw it to Cam Coleman. It doesn't matter if you throw it to KLS or Perry Thompson or hand the ball off to the stable of running backs. It's still going to work. It's still going to work. We think. Now, we got to see what happens this weekend because I do think this is somewhat of a measuring stick. I don't think Cal is impressive, and that will be the narrative to outside folks about Auburn if they do win, mid-30s to low 20s, or maybe it's even more lopsided. We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the narrative. It's like, okay, you've done it against Alabama, A&M, and Cal. And they're right. They are totally right. But also the tricky thing is this is like, okay, well, if you're on the outside looking into Auburn, when is a win going to be good enough?
Yeah.
Because I think Cal is better than Arkansas right now. We'll see. I know some people are really sipping the Taylor Green Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet, but we'll see. We'll see. And we'll learn so much more in week 4 when Auburn plays Arkansas Jordan-Hare Stadium. But even then, I think the way it's going to stack up is I think Tennessee is going to blast Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma comes to Jordan-Hare Stadium, and I think Auburn wins that game as well. And so there's just going to be excuse after excuse after excuse to not give Auburn props. So at some point, regardless of what Auburn does against Cal, assuming they perform well, you're going to have to say, maybe Auburn is actually better.
Yeah. By the way, I'm more of a Jaquindon Jackson guy than a Taylon Green guy at Arkansas. We'll see. They have a great matchup Saturday. We'll get into that in our Village Vice 6-pack a little later on in the show. But I think it's a very fair question. Like, would Cal beat Arkansas? I don't know. We don't know enough about either one of those teams. They both have new offensive coordinators and transfers and all of that kind of good stuff. First-year quarterbacks at those schools. So, but I think it's an accurate it's a really good comparison. You're going to play both of them in the month of September. So I think, and I also want to touch more on what does it mean, because I think there is one significant thing you can take away, even those who would go, but it's only Cal. I hate doing that. I hate boiling a season down to 1 or 2 or 3 games. Can't stand that. But even for that crowd, I think this is a measuring stick in one way. But before that, again, it's the identity of this team.
Yeah.
How much, so Jeremiah Cobb doesn't really get carries until Hank Brown is in the game. Is that what it's like when a game is in the balance? Does Damari Alston get more? Jarquez is getting more than 4. We know that. I mean, we feel very confident in that he's not going to be limited to 4 carries. Will Peyton Thorne and Jarquez have the same number of carries? Probably not. There's just so much more of the identity to be fashioned out in this game. And that's fascinating to me, regardless of the opponent, but especially because the jump in competition is there.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw so much offensive production, but we didn't see a whole lot of plays. So as far as the balance and the rotation, like Malcolm Simmons and Robert Lewis, how do they coexist in this offense? I'm inclined to think that Jeremiah Cobb didn't play with the 1s because they knew that he would be needed with the 2s. And by the way, Malcolm Simmons played with the 2s as well. He caught a touchdown pass from Hank Brown. Sam Jackson only played like a few snaps, single-digit snaps. Is that like that this Saturday? Everybody just thinks Sam Jackson had this major role because of that incredible touchdown catch that he had from the baby goat. So to me, from a personnel standpoint, I don't think we know that much.
Right.
I think we know the offensive line. Like, I feel confident with what we saw on Saturday that Tyler Johnson has won the job at left tackle. I feel confident on that with how little we saw Percy Lewis. I feel confident in that. I feel confident in Cam Coleman and KLS being what we thought they could be. Rivaldo, I think it was an off game for Rivaldo. I'm not worried about Rivaldo at all. He's going to get his targets as he should. But the slot receiver balance or rotation, I think, is interesting, as well as the running back one, like you just said.
Yeah. And defensively, there are stories there too. This is almost like a game 1B or a 2.0 season opener, because, Keontae, as we talked about earlier in the week, played 15, 16% of the snaps of the game at corner. Yeah. Is Champ Anthony going to be good to go in this game with his calf? Is Isaiah Rakes going to be good to go? What does he do to the rotation? Is it a flat, even distribution, or, who's getting less or fewer snaps because of him, and how productive is he in there against a team that, quite frankly, didn't, most of the stuff that Cal did last week was near the line of scrimmage. They didn't throw the ball downfield a ton. So,
yeah, and I've talked to a few people this week. It's like, is that them hiding stuff, or is that just not who they are? And most people think it's just not who they are, which, I mean, we've seen Auburn not stretch the field deep, and you can still have an offense where you don't do that. Jaden Ott was not impressive running the ball against UC Davis. Will they make that more of a priority? I think they're going to have to. And once again, how healthy is? I mean, there's a ton of questions going into this game. To take a stab at some of the ones you just asked, like Isaiah Rakes, I do think he'll play, and I think he'll start. That is my gut, is I think he starts, and I will also say I think he has the most snaps of all of the nose guards on Auburn's roster. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. And then who else was it? Champ Anthony, I do think will play. Both were practicing earlier this week. I expect Champ Anthony to play. Yep.
Yeah. Their offense, and that's important again against. I agree. I think it's their identity to just sort of go with more of a short passing game. Ott, before he got injured, he carried 14 times and scored twice. He didn't have a lot of long runs.
How many runs? How many yards?
He had 49 yards
on 14 touches.
Carries.
That is not good.
No, he averaged like 4 yards a carry, 4.3, something like that per carry. 4 catches as well. Again, near the line of scrimmage, swing passes or dump offs, check downs, that kind of thing. Did score twice, but how many touches would he have gotten if he had not been injured in the game against UC Davis? And if he's healthy,
right? More.
Yeah, right. And does he get 25 touches if he's healthy in this game? Okay. I like Auburn tackling in space. They handled him pretty well a year ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm with you. And this Cal offense went as Ott went a year ago. And I anticipate that being a similar story this year.
Yeah. When Ott was hot, they were good. When Ott was not, they were not good.
Man, that was so good.
All right. You know what's really so good? Barner Supply Company.
Yeah.
And a lot of you are taking advantage of their latest offer, which is a free koozie when you purchase a hat, like that one that Zach is wearing, or this one that I am wearing. We love these hats, and you will too. Them. They don't just have hats, though. They have shirts. They have top quality. They source their entire line from high-quality companies in the U.S., and all of their apparel is decorated in the U.S. The majority of it's local to Alabama. These are wonderful Auburn people, born in Auburn or have Auburn connections, went to Auburn. Barner Supply is really just kind of owning the term Barner and making it an honorary term. A Barner believes in work, hard work. So when you go to barnersupply.com and you buy a hat and you put in our promo code Village Vice, no spaces, you're going to get a koozie for free. That's right. Pay zero. Like the number.
Imagine paying for a koozie.
Like the number of touchdowns Alabama A&M had a week ago. Zero. That's what you'll pay for your koozie when you buy a hat at barnersupply.com.
How many touchdowns does Cal get tomorrow?
Ooh.
Or Saturday? It's Thursday. Sorry.
If you're watching on Friday, it's tomorrow.
Correct. That's true.
I'd set the line at 1.5.
Okay.
I set it at 1.5.
Got it.
I think this game will tell us, like, what can you take from this game in a world where, like we just said, if you're judging Auburn's receivers based on last year's game, you're doing it wrong. But it's our first chance to at least, like, Cal's changed their offense, but their defense is the same. Their defense could be better. Those the outside linebacker and defensive end transfers from Florida and Utah, they're good.
Cal people told me their best player didn't play at UC Davis, their best rusher. So whatever. Sure. Great. Sure. You might be right. But I think we learned about Auburn's O-line.
Yeah.
For one. But to me, like, I don't think we need to overthink this, Brad. This game is still all about Peyton Thorne.
Yeah.
This whole offseason, they did everything they could. I've said it over and over and over again to make it not about Peyton Thorne. But still, like, Peyton Thorne needs to get the job done. And so it's all on Peyton Thorne to get the ball to Perry and to Cam and to Keandre. That's the most important thing. I expect a lot of RPO calls on Saturday from both teams, but specifically for Peyton Thorne, like, just make the right decision. This coaching staff is going to put you in a position to succeed. You just have to make the right decisions with all the information you can get pre-snap, which in-helmet communication will help with that. And then obviously, the half second after the ball is snapped, you just got to make decisions effectively, consistently, and quickly. And I think he does it. But to me, like, let's don't overthink this. Yes, there are aspects that are important, but this is all about Peyton Thorne.
Sure, I would attach to that the tackles. I think Too Tall and Tyler, you got to give your quarterback time to make the right decision and have a guy break open. But I love the receiver's ability to get open and create space and then win a one-on-one matchup. It is the first time to face an opponent that you also faced last year. Different time, different environment, different team. But people are naturally going to, right or wrong. Wrong most of the time. Check the ranking system and you get proof of that. But people compare what you did a year ago to what you're doing right now. And for Auburn to win last year by 4 in Berkeley, they come out this year and cover. Like if you win by 2 touchdowns, that's going to be the first, at least it is tangible or visible or something that is realistic to go, all right, they played them last year, the result was A. They play them this year, the result was B. And there's a noticeable difference. Not 7 points,
sure. Right.
14, 17, 20-point difference. I think you start to generate a little more talk nationwide at that point.
Mm-hmm. Which, is that important? Probably not. But the fanfare of it and like what this team deserves, I think you do get a little bit of conversation there. And you're beating an ACC team. This is something that the SEC will take pride in, and it could talk more crap to the ACC, except for Florida. Thanks a lot, Florida. Really appreciate that. But yeah, sure. I do think it'll be a bigger talking point, no question.
And A&M, you get a chance to avenge the ACC victory over the SEC when Notre Dame beat Texas A&M. It's what we're all about, avenging conference losses.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
Okay. Cal and Notre Dame, notable ACC stalwarts.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Is the ACC claiming that?
I mean, they play a majority ACC schedule. I don't know. I don't keep up with the ACC. I don't know if the ACC is claiming it or not.
I don't know if the ACC keeps up with the ACC. Hey, I want to tell you about our friends at Rhoback. Rhoback.com. They make the best looking clothing ever. Also the most comfortable clothing ever. They've got the best looking polo shirts. They've got the best looking hoodies, the most comfortable hoodies in the world. Oh my gosh. As well as hats and shorts. They've got it all over at Rhoback.com. They also have Auburn themed apparel. They've got a nice line for Auburn stuff. So be sure to check all of that out. Go to the website, Rhoback.com, ROHOBACK, and then use our promo code VICE20. VICE20 for 20% off your order. We do not want you to pay full price.
No.
That code will take 20% off your order. That is at Rhoback.com. I'm so excited we get a little 6-pack action. I didn't get to do last week's because I was in Atlanta for the PGA Tour Championship. But we're back, baby. Thank you for Taylor for filling in. But I'm so excited. I've missed this.
Village Vice 6-pack. So we're just going to pick 6 games, including Auburn's. We'll go against the mybookie.ag spread and see how we do. I'm going to start right out of the gate with that top 10 matchup at the Big House, La Casa Grande. 3rd ranked Texas, 10th ranked Michigan. Michigan hasn't lost a home game since like 21.
Yeah.
And Texas is rolling up in there, a 7.5-point favorite over the Wolverines.
Yeah. And I think they do it. I'm taking Texas. I'm taking the Texas Longhorns against your Michigan Wolverines.
Wait a minute, Zach. Michigan is one of the top 5 winningest programs in college football history, and they're coming off a national title. And you're picking them to lose at home.
Name their quarterback.
Oh, I don't know.
Right. And you're a Michigan super fan.
So, they hired Sharon Moore to replace Jim Harbaugh, who's one of the best coaches we've seen in this generation. Okay. One in the NFL, one in college. He's like inarguably one of the best in the generation. So you're telling me that when you lose one of the best coaches in a generation or longer, you're not just going to you're going to have some drop off. You have to expect some drop off, even if you're one of the top 5 winningest programs in college football history.
So for a second, I thought you were taking a dig at my Patriots, and then I figured out you were taking a dig at Tuscaloosa. That took me a second. I am so sorry.
All right, no problem. Everybody else was hopefully just with us for the ride there.
No, you're good. Pick the game.
Michigan will cover. They won't win, but they'll cover.
Got it. Okay.
There we go. That's such a dumb pick. I don't really believe that. Pick them with my heart instead of my head.
That's fine.
All right. How about Arkansas and Oklahoma State? 2 of the top rushing teams around. Ollie Gordon's one of the best running backs in the country. Arkansas is getting 8 points in Stillwater. Is that enough?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I like Oklahoma State in this one. And it's not that I love Oklahoma State. I think kind of more the pressure is on Arkansas. And I don't know if this is a team really built for pressure. So yeah, give me Oklahoma State.
I'm going to go exactly the opposite. I think Arkansas has no pressure in this game. They're going to a top 20 team. Oklahoma State can't afford to lose this game. Then it's South Alabama all over again, and people
Brad,
are
if they
grumbling.
lose this game,
Yeah.
Sam Pittman knows. Sam Pittman knows the hot seat talk will be so loud throughout the state of Arkansas.
But it can be louder than it already has been.
Oh, sure. It can't lose the game. It'll get louder.
You
100%.
think so?
Yeah.
Right. See, Ollie Gordon last week against whoever they played got 100 yards rushing, but he needed like 20 plus carries to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Jaquindon Jackson against nobody, against Arkansas Pine Bluff, did it on like 8 carries. I think they can keep this close, and I think they can get to the Big 12 defense. And I almost like Arkansas to win flat out. I will take them to cover.
Do it.
I'm not going to pick them to win straight up.
Pick them to win straight up.
No, I'm not doing that. Come on, I'm not.
All right, who's
not
next?
Trying to be reckless. All right. South Carolina at Kentucky, the first SEC game of the year. Kentucky's a 10-point favorite in Lexington.
Yeah, I think Kentucky wins, and I think they win big. Was not impressed with what I saw from South Carolina. A lot can change in week, especially from week 1 to week 2. But right now, give me Kentucky.
Yeah, 9 returning starters on defense. Lenora Sellers didn't look comfortable. Brand new quarterback, young guy, South Carolina. I like Kentucky pretty. I think they'll cover.
Okay.
How about, just for fun, to help the numbers, Colorado is at Nebraska. Nebraska is a 7-point favorite. It's the Big Red Revenge coming up Saturday, right?
Oh, man. Colorado looks so bad against an FCS opponent.
Yeah.
Give me Nebraska.
Yeah.
Give me Nebraska, and I'm not hesitating at all with this one.
No, me neither. I think they'll win by double digits, and I think Colorado is flashy, and they are entertaining offensively at times, but I think Nebraska is a better team, and they win by more than the 7 points. How about ranked in Charlotte? Big old bowls of mayonnaise all over the place for 14th ranked Tennessee and number 24 North Carolina State. Tennessee an 8.5-point favorite in Charlotte.
Man, once again, a lot can change from week 1 to week 2, but NC State let Western Carolina, not Eastern Carolina, but Western Carolina stick around for like 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Give me Tennessee. I think Tennessee blasts them.
Maybe. NC State has one of the most electric players in the country in Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver. Had 3 touchdowns, like 1,000 yards last week alone, which is a big number. But Tennessee probably has more.
I like Tennessee a lot in this game.
I
like it a lot.
All right, that's 5 of the 6. The last one, Zach, brings us to the last part of the program today, and that is the Auburn Tigers and Cal. Auburn, a 13-point favorite from our friends at mybookie.ag. A reminder, by the way, they double your initial deposit when you use the code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag.
Yeah, free money. I love that. I love that. I think it's free money if you take Auburn to cover. That's just where I'm at with this game, and I've tried to convince myself otherwise, and I can't talk myself. I can't talk myself out of it. I'm going to say 37-17.
Okay. I like that. I like the 17, but you know what? I want a little bigger. I want a 40 burger in this game. A 40 burger with cheese. I think 40-17. Cheese.
40-17.
Yeah, I like 40-17.
Right.
Auburn in this game. The line, by the way, is the line. For those who don't know how this works, most of you do, I know, but it's not they think Auburn will win by 13. It's where can they move the line so that the betting is even. And not enough people understand the increase in talent that Auburn has at the wide receiver position. They don't quite understand the explosiveness offensively.
So you're saying we're smarter than Vegas?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Change the name of the show to Vegas Vice.
Village Vegas. Yeah.
Hey, head over to thebarnauburn.com. We're going to be talking about this game more there than anywhere else on the interwebs. It's a really fun, growing community. The signups this week have been insane. So head over to thebarnauburn.com. It's Auburn's newest message board, and it's been a ton of fun. So once again, thebarnauburn.com.
Every time we're out and about, especially on game day, Zach, this happened a ton last Saturday. People are coming up. They're talking about how they enjoy the show and love watching Village Vice. We appreciate that so much. We look forward to seeing so many of you out there this Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium as well. Until then, that about does it for today's show. Remember, we appreciate you liking and subscribing and commenting. We really do appreciate it. Remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.